Once upon a time, on 2 urban blocks in south central Los Angeles, there was a farm. Hundreds of people, mostly immigrants, were growing food on industrial property. People were able to grow food that they ate, and they were able to eat well. Some of these plants were used for healing. Some were used for teas. The owner let this happen for 18 years. One day, the property owner decided he needed his land back. No one really knows why, but he did wish to sell the land, and it was hard to attract a buyer with so many families growing food on the land. The farmers didn't want to leave. In fact, even the thought of it made them sad and angry. Many tried to help the farmers save the farm. Movie stars climbed trees with famous environmental activists. They sat vigil in the arms of 2 great California walnut trees. Friends of urban farming tried to raise money to buy the farm. Concerts were organized. The mayor visited. The year was 2006. George Bush was president of the United States. America was fighting wars in the Middle East. The cost of fossil fuel was ever increasing. But nothing or nobody could keep the South Central farm from losing its battle to stay on the land. A very unfortunate decision was made to bulldoze the garden. The hundreds of farmers and their families watched as everything they had worked for was being destroyed. And then the destruction was brought to a screeching halt by a giant zucchini. This great-sized gourd clogged the bulldozer. The crowds that were sad, whose protests had been replaced with bitterness, saw it all turn around by one oversized vegetable. The gears ground to a halt, and people started to laugh and dance and rejoice. An artist saw this pause as an opportunity. She called the property owner and offered to buy the seeds and trees and plants of the South Central farm. And that was the beginning of another adventure. Together, friends of the farmers collected all the seeds that they could from the bulldozed landscape. They planted them in boxes along a sidewalk. The seeds grew to be healthy plants that are still growing and producing food for people in the city. The trees were removed from the garden and brought to the Huntington Library in Pasadena. The 2 great California walnuts didn't survive the journey. But the artists and community planners and public space makers and politicians and real estate agents couldn't forget the laughter and joy brought about by the giant zucchini that stopped the bulldozers that day when everything looked so bleak. Sometimes, caught in an impossible bind, a simple moment of joy is the thing you remember the longest that creates the most indelible change. All living things need a safe environment to thrive in. We have a lot of work to do together to make that possible.